Thoughts on who has the edge to make the Ducks roster first, Zellweger or Mintyukov? Well, I think that they're both in a very similar place. I think that those two players are close, but Zellweger was the WHL Defenseman of the Year. Mintyukov was the OHL Defenseman of the Year. Two incredibly offensive players, two guys that do a lot of things with the puck, guys that can produce points. I'd say that Mintyukov is the more physically ready player. Zellweger may be the more mature, mentally ready player. But I would also caution to say, I don't think either of them necessarily should be on the NHL roster right away. The Anaheim Ducks are in a team that's a little bit of flux. And as I mentioned before, we'll see Trevor Zegras, Jamie Drysdale not under contract yet as restricted free agents. So as you make those changes, that should not impact how you utilize Zellweger and Mintyukov. These are two players that are just getting out of junior hockey, guys that you can use in a different way, can move to another level, guys that you can get into the mix in San Diego and give them an opportunity to find their game as professionals. And the AHL is such an important step, typically for defensemen. Not a ton of guys skip that step unless you're Cale Makar, unless you're Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox, players like that. Most players do not skip that step. And so as good as Zellweger and Mintyukov both are, I don't necessarily think that's going to be a step that they skip. And you look at what the Ducks did in the offseason as well. They did add some stopgap short-term defensemen that will be able to insulate those players and allow them to kind of matriculate naturally. So I don't think Mintyukov or Zellweger would make sense to be on the opening night roster unless they blow you away with their performance. And if I were to guess who that would be between those two players, it's really difficult to say because I think they're very close in terms of ability, the way that they play and what they would bring to the team. And I don't think you want to have two young defensemen on your NHL roster. So keep in mind there's plenty of time. Patience is always the best path for defensemen, and I think that should be the case going forward.